Now, I promised on Sunday night that I would deliver the person responsible, and whether you all want to believe it or whether Stone Cold wants to believe it, I am on his side, and I have spared no expense to bring in a very important person here tonight.
Uh-oh.
Somebody who likes Stone Cold Steve Austin is a fellow Texan. Somebody who's been hanging a little bit low. Somebody who likes Stone Cold Steve Austin is a former WWF champion.
What?
Hell, he's one of the greatest competitors to ever step inside this ring. Some of you know him as the former WWF commissioner.
Why, hey, you're kidding
Some
me.
of you know him as the Heartbreak Kid.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you tonight, Mr. Shawn Michaels.
What is this, JR? Well, what it is, it's Shawn Michaels, the former commissioner of the WWF, a former World Wrestling Federation champion, a fellow Texan. As far as the rattlesnake is concerned. But remember, Mick Foley has made a guarantee that his investigation will end tonight. Wait a minute, Jerry. You said Shawn Michaels is a suspect? Could it be Shawn? He doesn't have blonde hair. It could be. I mean, or perhaps Shawn Michaels knows something. I don't know. This is a total shock, a total surprise, but there's got to be a good reason that Mick Foley flew Shawn Michaels in from San Antonio to be here on Raw tonight. What is that reason? I don't know, JR. I know you get all your information from the National Enquirer, but on the internet, a lot of people think that Shawn Michaels may have been the man that ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. Certainly a very appreciative response.
As a new WWF commissioner, let me say, welcome to Anaheim, California, my fellow.
There's that cheap pop he was talking about.
My fellow broken down, washed up wrestler.
Damn glad to be here, Mick.
And listen, Shawn, out of respect for you and everything you've done in this ring, I'm not going to come out here and accuse you of running down Stone Cold Steve Austin. What I am going to do, however, is present you with the opportunity to explain just where you were and what you did on the night that Stone Cold was run down by that automobile.
JR, he is a suspect.
Well, gee, Mick, you go through the trouble of flying me out here, first class, by the way.
Can't believe it.
Set me up in a 5-star hotel. You dust off the old HBK music. But still, nonetheless, you do it while accusing me of running down Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's what he's doing, all right. You're a suspect.
Now, being the guy I am, Mick, I'm not only gonna tell you what I did that night, hell, I'm gonna tell you what I did the whole damn day.
Oh boy, here we go.
Now, you're gonna have to bear with me, as I'm sure you can understand, this head's taking a lot of chair shots, so I might be a bit foggy. Now, I remember opening my eyes in bed, rolling over, and squeezing my white-hot wife on the butt and giving her a kiss on the cheek. Good morning.
Oh, man.
Then I got up, brushed my teeth, had a little breakfast, and then let me see, did I jump on a plane, fly to Detroit, sneak into the Joe Louis Arena, and run down Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Well, did you? Well.
Now, you know my head isn't always there, Mick, but I think I'd remember if I ran down another human being. Call me crazy, but I'm telling you that thud on the bumper would have jogged my memory. See, Mick, there's one problem with your scenario. The person you're looking for needs a motive. And well, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels sure as hell doesn't have one. But I want to wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope you find your man.
So I guess Shawn Michaels is saying he
Wait
didn't do
just
it.
a second. You claim not to have a motive. Maybe indeed you do need a little bit of refresher. Let's take a look at the Titantron, a little footage from WrestleMania 2 short years ago. Going for the big kick, but no, Stone Cold, bam, a stunner. Bam, a stunner. 1, 2, 3. And not only that, Shawn Michaels, when you were down, when you were out, when you had legitimately passed the torch, he reaches down and offers a Stone Cold salute. So, Shawn, I say to you, do you have the motive? Let me remind you of a little something. You know a question I get asked just about more than anything else? I get asked, what was my greatest match? Everybody assumes it's Hell in the Cell with The Undertaker. Every single time I say without fail, it was Mick Foley and Shawn Michaels at Mind Games, September 1996. You know what their reaction is? Huh? No one remembers 1996, Shawn. Nobody appreciates the trail you blaze so that the WWF superstars of today could rake in the cash. No one seems to care. And then, Shawn, if it had been me, if I'd rolled off a hospital bed, come to main event the WrestleMania, and not only passed the torch, but been awarded for all of that by having Stone Cold Steve Austin put his middle fingers in my face, if all that had been done to me, I'll tell you what, Shawn, I would have run this son of a bitch over.
Whoa, man. Well, maybe he is supplying
So you
a motive.
ask me for motive, I say you looked up at the screen, and when Stone Cold put his middle fingers in your face, you've got your motive.
Yeah.
Are you finished? First off, I don't ever want to see that on the screen again. And secondly, you got a hell of a lot of nerve coming out here and saying what you just said.
Well, he's a nervy commissioner, all right.
I guess it's time for the truth, isn't it, Mick?
I would appreciate the truth. I think everybody here would appreciate the truth.
Polish made a guarantee.
Fine, it's time for the whole world to hear. The number one suspect, Shawn Michaels, where was he that fateful night?
Shawn Michaels here, he looks great.
I'll tell you where I was, Mick. I was sitting at home, watching Survivor Series, thinking to myself, what in the hell has the World Wrestling Federation come to when guys are getting run down backstage? Now, do I like Stone Cold Steve Austin? No. But I don't hate him either. Now, did I do it? I have to tell you, if I did, I'd be the one guy doing what I've always loved to do, be in the spotlight. I'd be the number one guy once again right here in the World Wrestling Federation if I was the man that ran down Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's Mick Foley's point.
And anybody that knows anything about me knows that I thrive on being number one. I thrive on being in that spotlight.
He loves the spotlight.
But I have to tell you, Mick, I'm ashamed to say it, but it wasn't me.
Uh-oh.
But I've got an idea about who it was.
Oh, now, here we go. This should be
There's
good.
one guy here in the World Wrestling Federation that loves the spotlight as much as old HBK. Hell, he loves it more than I ever did.
Oh, look at that.
He's young, he's hungry, he's successful, and he's got the whole world wrapped around his finger.
Ah.
Think about it, Mick. If you smell what I'm cooking.
What? Well, what do you mean? What is this? He's obviously, he's fingering the rock. No doubt about it, Shawn Michaels is pointing the finger at the WWF champion, The Rock. Shawn Michaels is saying that The Rock had the greatest motive of anyone to run over the rattlesnake. Well, you got it